Hi everybody, Stefan Molyneux from Freedom and hope you're doing well. I'm here with Lucia, who sent a very interesting letter in, and I wanted to talk some more about it. So Lucia, if you wouldn't mind just going over what you'd written in, that would be great.
Okay. Dear Stefan, when I was 6 years old, I had a recurring dream which ended up forming what I believed to be the purpose of my life. The dream was a breathtaking illustration to me of the true nature of man and of woman, represented in the dream as one naked man and one naked woman standing side by side, and how each were created to fit one into the other symbiotically. The dream allowed me to feel on a very deep level within me the utter divine bliss that was possible when a man and a woman unite as intended, according to their respective true masculine and true feminine natures. The dream always left me with a beautiful feeling of love, the likes of which are unknown to man, and the remnants of which I can only recall from the memory of that dream. The dream left its indelible mark on my young heart, and as I grew up, it was my life goal to achieve that beautiful bliss with my one man, and then be united with him forever as one. With that as a foundation, the idea of sex to me was always a physical expression of the spiritual soul union I would have with that one man. Later on, when I was a teenager, my Nana also told me that the most beautiful gift I could give my husband was my virginity. When I went out into the world throughout my 20s and 30s, a process began to unfold for me in which I found out that what my Nana had told me was actually an egregious lie. I observed that actually men only wanted whores. I saw this played out hundreds of times before my own eyes, and I clung to my virginity. Today, despite a few close calls, I still cling to my virginity, and I know now I will never give it up because I will never have a husband to give it to. I've recently been seeing a psychologist to get evaluated for Asperger's syndrome. However, in my last session, I ended up talking a lot about my ex-boyfriend because he had just begun texting me again and I'd begun to fall apart again. I found myself bursting into tears in front of my psychologist in a moment of unanticipated candor. I told the psychologist that I had never had all the way sex, and I wouldn't do so without being married, and that I only wanted to have sex with one single man throughout my whole life. In a sense, for me, the act of allowing my husband to have sex with me is my vow and bond to him for life. That is how seriously I take the act of penetration. The psychologist, of course, asked me why I would not have sex. I've spent much of my adult life trying to answer this question for modern people, and it's like trying to explain a sunset to a blind person. Nobody understands me. I told the psychologist I feel like I'm from a different planet. I don't know anymore how to explain to modern people why I only want to have sex once married and only with one man my whole life, because they have no capability to understand me. To me, it's obvious and normal and natural. I told him sex is the most intimate thing two human beings can do. I feel like everyone else has it backwards. I told him especially for the woman, sex is unspeakably intimate, and the more I learn about the process of sex, the more shocked and even disgusted I am when I think that females go around allowing men to do that to them. Basically, I become ever more estranged from what is considered normal. All I could tell the psychologist in my defense was that I must be more sensitive and much deeper than everyone else. As I was speaking those words and thinking about my ex, the guy who had drawn me closer to him than I've ever been to anyone ever, I burst into tears. I said, If it hurts this much when I don't have sex, how much more would it hurt if I had let him have sex with me? What is wrong with me? And how can it be right as a woman to allow so many different men to become a physical part of my body? And why don't men care? Why are they blind to this logic? Or am I being illogical? Why am I so alone with this thinking? I'm the one who has lived alone and will die alone because men want nothing but sex. And if you don't give them that, they consider you to be a waste of their time, even though they will most likely abandon you sooner or later, even if you let them screw you. I've always hated feminism. I've always loved men and masculinity, but I have developed a deep fear of men.